Get back when I'm traveling, six-pack run when I'm traveling. Seeking a place with young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place with young free, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right. Seeking a place with young free, and I got what it takes.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. DJ Hamp, the Stampede, we in the building. What you saw upon entering this video was the legendary Adrian Peterson. Arguably the best back of all times. Of course, you'll get the argument for Barry, Sweetness, Emmett, so on and so forth. But what AP was doing, how he was running, just the effort, the animalism, I just never seen it before like that. I believe he's third or fourth all time in rushing. You know, he played upwards of 17 years in the league. And, you know, we definitely know he loved the game of football. He went to Oklahoma, then was at the Vikings, you know, won an MVP as a running back. I mean, legendary. Based on the reports, it said he made upwards of $100 million in his entire career. Now, mind you, the longevity of running backs is not long. The average running back lasts about 4 or 5 years. You see oftentimes when running backs are making the Hall of Fame, they're playing 7 years, you know. Terrell Davis, namely, played 7 years, which doesn't seem like a long time. But for that position, with all the wear and tear you taking, 7 years is a lifetime. Salute to AP. How do you end up broke for all intents and purposes? Is this a joke? Said to have made upwards of $100 million in contracts, let alone endorsements. Now, 6 months ago, there was a judgment, pending judgment, upwards of $12 million of a debt that he owed. $12 million of a debt that he owed. Let me show you guys this, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Let's go through the video that he released about 6 months ago for an alleged debt that he owed upwards of $12 million and what was being sold off in order to pay said debt. Then I'm going to show you guys something else.
Rumors and media reports and a state sale company without my authorization included some of my trophies in the sale, despite clear instructions to leave personal items untouched. I did not authorize the sale of any of my trophies, and I will be taking legal action. Trusting this company without supervision was my mistake. We allowed them to go into several of our storage units with clear instructions. They clearly did something unlawful. I want to emphasize that I am financially stable. It would never sell off my hard-earned trophies. And if I was going to sell them, I know people that I can sell them to. I wouldn't go online and sell my personal items randomly. So let that sink in. It's concerning that the media outlets did not.
I think AP might be confused. You owe a $12 million debt, which is why you're having an estate sale. People assume that you can borrow what can and cannot be sold. But if you have to meet the threshold of that debt, you'd be surprised what assets are going to be seized. So it's not even a matter of what you authorize. At a point, if they can't sell the couches and the cars to meet that debt, other things got to go. And you know what? Estate companies know this, and it's in the documentation. So the legal action is one thing. However, when you open up the home to say, hey, personal items be sold, you own all those things. The couch can be considered personal. Trophies and all upwards of that can be included as well. So when you have a threshold to meet, good luck.
Verify this information with my publicist or me, because a lot of you guys have my number. But, you know, it is what it is. I just wanted to address this and put in my own words, because people have been texting me here the past hour. But it's all good. I'm finna go upstairs and continue to praise God and celebrate. I'm not gonna let the devil win. God bless. Have a wonderful night.
Man, I wish it was that simple. First things first, though, right? I want to make sure you guys had context. But how do you get from $100 million to owing $12 million off a loan that you took out to pay other debts that you had? This loan was at $5 million, but the interest rate is 25% over the course of several years. Now we're here at $12 million. So now we're having an estate sale. There's no more contracts. You know, when he was allegedly trying to get a contract, the Vikings actually did not pick up his option. He had an option upwards of $17 to $20 million, but they did not pick up his option. So when they released him, he went to the Saints, but he never ever signed a contract again for more than $4 million. So when he took out this initial loan to cover these debts, he assumed that that $20 million contract was going to come through, but it didn't. And so he ended up with the Saints. He played for the Lions, a couple different teams. He's trying to bounce around, a couple $1 million here or there. And that plan fell apart. It's not easy. The NFL is a tough game. The difference between, for those who don't know, an NFL contract and an NBA contract, as an example, if you see an NBA contract for $20 million, that $20 million is guaranteed. When you look at the NFL contracts, it will say $20 million, right? And it'll have 10 million guaranteed. And then the other 10 million would be in incentives, kind of like commission, so to speak, if you do sales, but incentives. So let's take a running back as an example. So Adrian Peterson, let's say in his contract, he gets guaranteed $10 million. In order to get another $1 million, he has to get 1,000 yards in the season. So if he gets 1,000 yards in the season, boom, that's $1 million. If he gets 10 touchdowns, that's another $1 million, so on and so forth. So you have to meet these different incentives within the contract to get all of that money. So NFL contracts aren't guaranteed. So when you hear the big numbers, listen for the guarantee number and then assume that the rest is incentives, right? So I think that's a key difference when you listen to NFL contracts. But again, his earnings, what he actually brought in, were upwards of $100 million. You ask, how do you get there? Let me bring this name to you guys' attention. Trent Richardson. We won't stay on him too long. However, he signed huge contracts, right? Huge contracts. He went to the Cleveland Browns. He was not great. Came from Alabama. He was not great. He went to the Colts after that, was traded to the Colts and then the Raiders. But he was busy trying to fund everyone's lifestyle, buying houses for everybody, moving everybody in and out and up, because he thought that was his obligation because people were allegedly there for him. But when he went broke, it turns out nobody's there, you know. But the people that come from these circumstances assume that everybody is their responsibility. And the truth is, it's a one-way street. Funding businesses for people, etc. And needless to say, Trent Richardson is almost also broke. Let me show you guys this. Adrian Peterson, for his 30th birthday, threw a party. He flew everybody in for his birthday party. He funded their travel. He funded their lodging. He funded the party itself, obviously. Let me show you just how extravagant this party was, so you can understand how you get from $100 million to owing a $12 million debt. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Let's take a look at this.
Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson threw a rather extravagant bash for his 30th birthday, and he made his grand entrance on the back of a camel. Peterson arrived decked in full costume for his Arabian Nights themed bash. The affair included a customized ice bar and costume guests, including entertainer Jamie Foxx. We'll have to wait and see if Peterson's football career in his 30s can be as grandiose as his partying.
Featured guest, costume guest, flew everybody in, upwards of a couple hundred people, paid for their airfare, transportation, lodging, paid for the entire party, had camels, etc., etc. I'm sure Jamie Foxx wasn't cheap. And so how you do anything is how you do everything, right? He had family, kids, cost money. That type of lifestyle, right? That level of party, that ain't the first one or the last one. Spending. People always assume that money gonna come from somewhere. There's always gonna be another contract, another lick, another opportunity, right? But we all got it until we don't. And this is the result. So the lawsuit was brought, right? Everything was being auctioned off, as he mentioned. He took exception with some of his quote unquote personal items being auctioned off, trophies and things of that nature. But now, just 6 months later, here's where we actually are in this case. And it's just an extreme. It seems like it's an unfortunate, but yet another example of not knowing, not great advisement, the lack of financial literacy. It gets you to this point. Nothing is guaranteed, but we assume these great talents are going to just be able to hold us and continue. But Father Time is undefeated. And even a great Adrian Peterson lost the battle to Father Time. Let me show you guys this.
Former NFL running back Adrian Peterson has been ordered by a Houston judge to turn over numerous assets as a means toward paying a debt that is estimated at more than $12 million. The court-appointed receiver, Robert Burleth, requested this order in July and said Peterson is known to have numerous assets at his home in Missouri City, Texas. The Houston judge on Monday ordered constables in Fort Bend County, Texas, to accompany Burleth to Peterson's residence to keep the peace. Peterson's debt issues began when he took out a loan for $5.2 million from a Pennsylvania lending company in 2016. The sum has grown because of interest and attorney's fees, leading to an $8.3 million judgment against him in 2021. No offsets have been made against this judgment to date, the receiver stated in the July court filing. Peterson, 39, last played in the NFL during the 2021 season. A 2012 NFL MVP, 4-time All-Pro and 7-time Pro Bowl selection, Peterson led the league in rushing 3 times in his 15-year career. He ranks 5th all-time with 14,918 rushing yards.
This can't be life, man. It's gotta be a joke. Listen, nothing is guaranteed, man. You got those talents, you make the most of them. But please understand, everything comes to an end. You have to balance them checkbooks, no matter if it has $1 million on it now, from the beginning. Be responsible. And that goes for all of us, right? This is at a grand scale. A $12 million debt owed, making $100 million in career is less than 1% of the 1% of us, right? But even with your $1,000, man, be careful with it. Don't spend your rent money whenever you can afford not to. Unfortunately, things happen and we got to prepare to the best of our abilities. Over 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So we get it, Adrian. But we just like, God damn, how did you F that much money up? But you'll be surprised, man. Ain't no atheist in the foxhole. Mike Tyson said everybody got a plan till they get hit. But please ask somebody. Don't try to go through this shit alone. We don't know everything. Right. And there's people that are more financially illiterate than you, know that. Reach out to them. See if you can connect with them and watch everybody, man. The people closest to you can do you the most harm. So you got to be careful, unfortunately. And you got to be abreast of every and all situations. Don't trust other people with your bread. And if you do, you need to trust but verify. Right. Learn so you're not layman, so that when you do have an advocate or an advisor, you can ask questions that are pertinent to the information and your money. Because when your money is going in and out, you need to, at the very least, understand it at the baseline level so people can't just pull the wool over your eyes, man. It's hard, but it's fair. That's the way of the world, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'm out.